Howdy guys, it's Joe here, and we are back for another top 500 gameplay of Grandmaster, whatever the heck else you want to call this. And today we're going to be talking about Ana. And of course, this Ana player I feel like is honestly really quite great with the character. Of course, top 500 players, so they have to be really amazing. But in particular, I really enjoyed watching this one. As this Ana player just really plays quite defensively, quite safely, and of course tells their team what to do. Of course tells the stream also what to do, so you can learn a lot of really nice tips off this player. Anyways, as you can see, this is just kind of starting off right now. Ana is playing very, very defensively, which kind of is what's going on this whole time. I feel like overall with Ana, of course, you can either go in or you can just stay back. And going in, getting a lot of damage, it can be very nice, but I feel like staying back and being mainly the main healer can often make you do a lot more as this character. Of course, she does, again, have the huge ability in order to just get in there, deal a ton of damage, 60, 75 damage per shot, I think, which is just amazing. But her healing is just so ridiculous that it really kind of surpasses everyone else. Of course, E and shooting your teammates is just beyond unbelievable, and simply just healing people from far range, it's just amazing with this character. And I feel like a lot of people kind of just shove that under the rug sometimes. They play Ana, they go a little bit too ham, and then they end their life, or they just don't really play way too safe. They don't hide around corners like this guy does. They don't try to heal the people at low HP. They just try to heal who's nearby, heal who's in their vision, and then go for that damage. If you're a player that tries to do stuff like that, I'd say honestly don't. You're going to be able to carry a lot more if you follow what this guy does and actually go in to the healing mode instead of just trying to go in and do a lot of damage. Of course, when you're on defense or when time's going really, really great and there's nothing else to really do, of course damage is a pretty good idea. But honestly, up to a huge, like super high level of play, healing can often really make the cut with this character. So yeah, just kind of go for that overall. As far as some of the other stuff that we're really seeing with this guy, he's playing very, very safe behind his tanks. And of course, he's also talking to his tanks, asking them to help him out. And as well with this, he's just always next to these guys. I feel like sometimes people think that maybe if they get a super good height advantage all the time, they'll never get killed. Or if, you know, they're behind corners all the time, they're never going to get killed. Or if they're just out of sight, they're never going to get killed. Well, a lot of times, people can just find you and take you out. Well, if you're next to your tanks, it's really, really hard to take out someone like Ana because either they try to get behind the tanks, which often doesn't work way too well, or they try to go immediately for the tanks, and then you can just completely heal the tanks up. So, yeah, it works either way really, really well. As far as we can see as well, one of the huge benefits is just charging your ultimate. It comes up so fast if you're mainly healing. It's just insanely fast. And of course, your team's really, really powerful. Nano boost right there, kind of an awkward choice, but I guess it made sense. There was barely any time left, just kind of went for that, tried to get a kill, push people off the point, and that was a really safe point overall. Nobody really tried to jump on them way too much. They got maybe one or two pretty good wipes from the enemies, but other than that, they played it really well. Of course, they tried to bait out a few ultimates, tried to bait out a lot of abilities, and try to keep the enemies, you know, not respawning at the exact same time. Some of the most basic stuff you can do, but of course, keeping the enemies from not respawning is just a great thing to do all around. As far as the next game though, here we go right here, the second round on Ilios. Personally, this map I feel like is kind of awkward for Ana. It can be very good, as you have a lot of long range, you can really take people out. And of course you can do a lot of damage and heal from long range. The problem is if there's a lot of flankers, like if there's someone like a Tracer that's really good, if there's someone like a Genji that's really good, or mainly if they have an amazing McCree or an amazing Widowmaker, as we see in this game, it can be really, really hard. You're gonna have to hide behind these pillars pretty much 24/7. As we really see later on, if you get out of these pillars even for 1 second, or if your tanks don't position well enough even for 1 second, and there's one of these characters out here, you're pretty much just kind of screwed. Which, of course, it takes a lot of skill to try to run up, try to heal your teammates, while also trying to be as safe as you possibly can be. Right as we see right here, though, a really nice thing is that, of course, he's right next to his tanks. He can just get really defensive. He's even safe from a Mercy. Not a Mercy, a Mei. Which Mei would normally just kind of walk up behind, kind of kill you by yourself. But since he's so close to his tanks, he can really be quite safe. Even when he's not directly next to his tanks, he is on that side of the field. All his tanks were on the left, so he stood on the left instead of randomly standing on the right. Something that's really basic to think about, but again, something that you should probably try to keep in your mind. Right here, of course, they're waiting for their teammates. A lot of people think, you know, maybe they can get just a little bit more poke damage. Just maybe one pick right here. It's a lot better to, obviously, for the most part, just kind of stay out right here. One kind of awkward part right here is they have to get around this corner when there is, of course, a Widowmaker right there, and they have a Mei. So they're going to have to try to outplay that. They get ulted by that Zarya, and they're just kind of going in right here. Of course, he's saving his ultimate until he can get a really nice ultimate, probably trying to combo with someone else's. And, of course, this Reinhardt's mainly just trying to hold up his shield. Goes in for a little bit of damage. I guess he could have decided to ult that Roadhog for a bit more damage, but yeah, walks around the side, gets a lot of people. Takes out the Mei. Everyone's pretty fine until they happen to get out this. That's unfortunate that they got that Mercy ultimate. And right here we can see she's not really next to any of her tanks. Luckily there was that Zarya behind her. There was no way for the Ana player really to just know that. That was just kind of, I feel like personally kind of lucky, but still, at least just playing really far back and really quite safe. Again, gets blocked off by their teammates, by that Mei, unfortunate for them, and then he can't keep healing them. As we see right here, if the Ana gets pushed away from healing, even for a second, his team, and especially his tanks, are really screwed. So you can take that multiple ways. If you're on the enemy team and you see an Ana, if you can play someone like Winston, or if you can play someone like, of course, Mei, if you can just happen to block the enemy's Ana away from their tanks just for a few seconds, you can go for a really nice engage. You don't even have to necessarily kill the Ana. If you can just stop her from healing, that's obviously really quite good enough, quite a bit of the time. Alright, here we see that Reinhardt, he goes in. A little bit later on, it might be right here, Reinhardt's really pushing it up there, really far up. Of course, Ana wants to stay back as much as she can, and the Reinhardt's just going way too ham, and he just keeps going ham over and over again, which is just kind of unfortunate. Of course, you want your tanks to stay kind of far back. Of course, that Winston, of course, again, can't heal. And, of course, this Ana player could decide to walk up, could decide to try to heal those guys, but it would probably just end her life, and it's not really worth the hassle. Again, though, since she's next to her tanks, really can do well right here. And she could have just decided to waste that ult, didn't. And right there, she could have decided to especially waste that ult on that Reinhardt and didn't do that. The Reinhardt was just standing way too far up. If you heard the chat, this person was saying, please, Ryan, get back. Wasn't getting back. The Reinhardt just kind of gets out there, and then just get wiped again. So, a little bit unfortunate right there. We pause up here again. Reinhardt's right here. He's going in, and he doesn't hit the wall. Instead, he goes all the way. Really not a good idea. He could have just stopped and right-clicked and tried to protect his team or just stayed alive. Didn't work. He couldn't stay on the point at all. Nobody got on the point, and unfortunately, the enemies got this. So, you know, that's kind of bad, but whatever. The player's really playing quite well, so they should be able to continue from here. And of course, now that there won't be a Widowmaker, she should be able to do a lot better. I feel like Ana does, in a lot of cases, have really big problems against especially good Widowmakers. Of course, if you're against like a bad or a medium Widowmaker, sometimes Ana can actually quite easily 1v1 them. And if you are behind a Reinhardt shield, you can pump out some of your damage, try to kill the Widowmaker, but especially on that map where Widowmaker just has so much prowess, so much stuff she can do, she can just kind of be everywhere. Ilios Widowmaker, I feel like, just is really great. It was kind of hard for the Ana player. She's trying her best, but was a little bit hard. Right here won't be quite as good for Widowmaker. Of course, still a pretty good map, but not quite as good. And of course, right here, we can just have the Ana hide behind the wall. She can stay really close up. She's going to be really quite safe. And if someone tries to gank around through the right or the left, teammates could decide to go back and try to protect the Ana. And if somebody tries to gank right behind, she can run forward, get right behind her team. Overall, really safe positioning. And of course, this Mei wall's over here. They try to get the Mei, don't really get her, and just kind of continue from here. You know, it's really quite all okay. Anyways, from there, these people are pushed up a little bit far. Of course, you kind of want to be pushed up around that corner. It makes so that you can get a lot of picks. It makes so that people have to slowly trickle in. And then this Mercy just jumps in for no reason. I don't know what even that was about, but, you know, we take what we can take. We get those when we can get those. The person gets hooked down, the Ana's down, and now the enemy team's really staggered, and these people are playing the stagger really great. As we saw in the previous game, this Ana's team got staggered. You know, only 4 of them were alive, and they could have went in while they didn't. But the enemy team right here is going in like 1 at a time or 2 at a time. They aren't waiting for the team to go in, and it's really something that isn't that hard to do. But in game, a lot of times you're like, you know, I gotta get in there. If I don't get in soon enough, my team's all gonna die. There's nothing I can do. They're gonna get way too much time on the point. It's really just kind of frustrating and kind of hard to not go on the point and to actually wait for your team. But if you do, you can get a lot of big results, as we see right here. Of course, that Mercy gets an ultimate, I think that was our Mercy. Yeah, but oh well, it just continues from there. These people die, and we just keep going on. Alright, here we got those tanks in there. They could decide to wait. They could try to go back and stagger, but they really aren't way too far up. She's trying to get out just a little bit of damage. Really can't reach her tanks once again. The enemies are doing pretty well sometimes on blocking off the tanks from the Ana. Again, as we see right there. And when you do that, as I said earlier, it makes it super hard for the Ana to heal, and especially it makes it super hard for the tanks to really live at all. And if you just keep taking out the Ana, the tanks will kind of fall behind. As well, this is where the tanks were a little bit stronger, I think, so it's kind of awkward right there. But yeah, okay, right here though, you know, everybody's just going in. They wait for the wall, try to walk around the wall, and then we happen to have a D.Va ult. That was a really awkward D.Va ult, but, you know, whatever people decide to do. They're just walking through. Of course, this player as well tries to shift all the tanks, because often if you can take a tank out of the game, just go in, try to get for the back line, and then go back and try to get the front line again, try to get the tanks after all their back line's gone. You'll really do quite well. You'll be really safe, and you'll be able to just take people out, getting a lot of free ult charge right here. Fortunately, the ult's up, but, you know, whatever the heck. Just getting a lot of HP healed up, and I guess he could have let that Roadhog go for his E instead of taking that. Didn't really matter way too much. That's kind of just a thing that he could have done, I guess. Continuing from here, they're going in for that ult. He sees that this might be a good time to ult that guy, but decides, you know, the Reinhardt's all by himself. Probably not the best time right this moment. Sees that there's a Lucio ult, sees that the Reinhardt's not dead, goes for that, tries to shoot people from all the way across the map, heals up that Roadhog, as the Roadhog, of course, cannot ult and heal himself at the same time. And it was really nice from that Reinhardt, especially. I feel like it was a good idea to save that ult, because the Reinhardt might have just been instantly bursted right through that ultimate, and it would have been a waste of an Ana ultimate. A lot of times people throw these out just a little bit too early, and yeah, you probably do want to save them just for a few moments, and you'll be able to do quite well. Of course, that guy gets taken out back there. Not way too much they could have done, but what they did decide to do was get a lot of damage out. She could have just, I guess, tried to heal that Roadhog, but, you know, it was pretty much fair game. Already dead, so they instead try to get a lot of damage on the enemies, take them out, and the second point really does come pretty easily, or I guess this third round right here. Now we're off to the next map. Of course, they just get it in right here again. And again, she does stay really far behind her team. She does stay at the really nice positioning. Essentially, where you want to stay is the distance where a Reaper can't run behind and instantly one-pop you behind the Reinhardt shield, but still a distance where you can easily shoot people, easily hit your teammates, and make so it's not way too hard for you to heal. Because sometimes people walk a little bit too far back and they can't actually accurately heal, while other times they're just way too close and people just walk up. This Reinhardt, for example, could have just turned around, walked up, and hurt this person. Yeah, there's a lot of situations you can do stuff like that. And right there, that's a really nice find by Ana. Of course, you should always be looking around. Ana, and I feel like McCree, a lot of these other characters, they're really nice for dealing consistent damage, but they're especially nice for finishing off kills. A lot of people walk away with like 1 HP left, 2 HP left, and sometimes people just don't have the range to get it. Of course, that Reinhardt didn't, and that D.Va didn't if her shift wasn't up, or I guess if her boosters weren't up, if you're on console. So, of course, the Ana just decided to get that. Look for it, and you should always be looking for kills like that. Even if they might be a little bit hard to spot, they're definitely worth your while. We are on this first point then, though, which was the first point that they were at the beginning, and they pretty much have a decent strategy right here. Stand through the middle, protect all the entrances from this place, and while this doesn't work with every team comp, this one does work pretty well, because if the enemies decide to walk through the middle, well, everybody can just reconvene in the middle. The Ana can go for a nice ultimate, and of course they can get a Pharah ult just like that, while if they go through a side, they can get a Pharah ult through the side, and probably nano boost that. So it just kind of depends where they go, where this Ana can nano boost, and who this Ana wants to nano boost. But yeah, it should work overall pretty well. As well, right here we see this Ana's trying to heal this Lucio. Again, the Lucio is more of a kind of a speed booster, honestly, in a lot of games. A lot of times you don't want to have the Lucio have to focus on doing the healing. Lucio's healing is okay if he amps it up, but if it's not amped up, really just want to make sure that you're the one healing his Ana, and just focus on that instead of course, again, going for a lot of damage. Alright, here just walks around, tries to get this kill on this soldier, and fortunately somebody helps him out, gets that kill. I guess actually he kills himself, never mind. Right here though, decide to go for that D.Va ult. I think that picks someone off, I'm not sure, that was really kind of awkward. Just walks up melee range again. I feel like some people just stay a little bit too far away in these fights as well, because Ana's abilities are honestly really good at close range. Really hard to miss at close range, and especially her shooting, it can pretty much auto hit if you're right next to them. We see a really close range fight right here, walks behind them. They probably don't expect the Ana to be there. She sees this Mercy, tries to shoot him, unfortunately misses quite a few times, and then finally gets taken out by this Mei, and that's the end of that fight right there. But, you know, they're just going to switch to the next fight. Her ultimate's up, so they do have a really good chance of getting in there. No one else's ult is up, so they're probably going to wait a few seconds until someone else is ulted up. But even with only an ult, you can really do quite a bit. You can just decide to ult that Pharah, and then she can easily get her ultimate. Essentially, you can use her ult as a way to get another person's ult. Of course, if you ult of Reinhardt and he gets 1 or 2 hits with his E, he pretty much auto gets his ult again. So it should be a nice thing. Right there, though, I think we saw that the Pharah ult was up. They should be able to cut a really nice combo right here. The enemies are on the point, kind of doing a similar thing to what this team was doing. But what I'd say was the better thing about what this Ana's team is doing is that when they were on the point, they weren't just simply hiding right inside the point. They were pushed out just a little bit, so it was really hard for the enemies to peek, while as we see, this team could just kind of peek all they wanted to and poke all they wanted to, because there was no one really shoving them way too far back. Again, right here though, they decide to get back, decide to reconvene with each other, and that's a time when I feel like most people wouldn't think about that, because they didn't really get wiped. Only 1 or 2 people died, so they could have kept going in, but decided, let's go back. We see we have all of our ultimates up, and right here they're just about to go in. Of course, they ult that Soldier 76. He's probably one of the best people ult in the game. Could ult the Pharah, I guess, didn't really matter. Soldier and Pharah are probably better ult in this situation than Reinhardt, because Reinhardt doesn't really have any speed. I guess he does with the Lucio, but other than that, not way too much speed. Right here though, stays far behind, really defensive, and again, they just get on the point, heal everybody up, kind of just ball straight through the point, and there we go. A really nice execution on an engage. Have the Reinhardt go in, kind of just burst through people, get them on the floor, have the Pharah get a few instant kills, have that D.Va go in, and yeah, just shove everybody in there, and you should be able to get a really nice engage. Overall, I feel like most of the time as Ana, your focus should be on the healing and getting really nice engages. Of course, your shift can do that. If you get a really nice E, you can do that, and definitely your ultimates can do that quite well as well. Anyways, though, guys, that's all I'm going to say about this game. If you did enjoy the game, or if you enjoyed anything else, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below who you want me to talk about next time. Of course, man, it's one of my favorite characters to talk about, so I might do another one of her somethings in the future, but there we go with that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, have a wonderful day.